The key to peace and being in the present moment is to remove what you regret. Now, what does that mean? That means that in your life, throughout your life, you're going to do things that you regret. And you can't lie to yourself about this. It doesn't matter what you say out loud. It doesn't matter what people think of you. What matters is what you think of yourself. And what matters is, are you proud of who you were yesterday? Are you actually? In fact, if you can think about this, take time in this video right now. Maybe pause this if you need to. Ask yourself, how proud of you are you of yesterday? How proud? On a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, I am so proud of myself. I can't believe I just did what I did. I surprised myself in many different ways. I think it might have been one of the best days of my entire life in terms of how much I pushed myself, in terms of how much respect I carried with myself, in terms of how much love and how good of a person I was to other people. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that, 1 being I absolutely just fucking was a fuck up and I can barely live with myself. That's 1. 5 being it was whatever. Not really necessarily too proud, not necessarily too regretful. It was whatever. Now here's the thing. Pretty much all of you guys are not going to say 10. I highly doubt it. And a small percentage of you will say 1, 2, or 3. Small percentage. You want to know the key to happiness and peace? It's what I just fucking said, which is like you need to start looking at your days with high numbers. Start making those days into higher numbers. For me, yesterday, full transparency, was like an 8. Pretty fucking proud, honestly. I had a great day. Definitely did more than the day prior. Definitely lived in pretty good alignment and had pretty high frequency. Didn't get too negative. Didn't do anything nothing big that I regret at all. Nothing really. Small minor things. But not like I did something mean to someone or I carried myself in a disrespectful manner or I failed to work out or I ate like shit, for example. I used to binge eat all the time. This was like a big problem I used to have. That was my biggest vice for a big time. I remember it would be like I would go to like the club one night, right? And I'd socialize with people, do what I can. And then I would get home and I'd be kind of bored. I'd be kind of like, shit, well, what do I do now? And then I would just eat. Because back then, I was really into game and I really liked pulling girls back home, for example. This doesn't mean I would always have sex with them. Nah, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that many nights I would go out to clubs. I would either go back home with a girl or I'd go to some after party or I'd go to my friend's house or I'd go to some girl's house or I'd go whatever. It'd be like the adventure would continue. So when it wouldn't continue, I would have this empty feeling like, shit, what do I do now? Like it's almost like your brain expected some dopamine rush. But since you didn't get it, then I was looking for it externally. So what I would do is I would typically just eat food. I would go buy a pizza. Or I would go buy some halal food. In New York, that was a very popular thing, halal. And then what would happen is I would eat 1 slice of pizza, 2 slices of pizza, 3 slices. I wouldn't fucking stop, dude. It's just like the night itself. I didn't want the night to end. I didn't want it to end. I'd go to some random person's house. I'd bring somebody over that I'm not even that into just to have company. Like, we don't gotta do anything. Like, I just had trouble ending the night. I had trouble with that. And honestly, if I had to get really deep with you guys, I've kind of always been this way. My mom would tell me that back when I was in preschool, I would wake up during nap time and I'd go around and wake up all the kids. Like, I didn't want to go to bed. My mom would get phone calls from the teacher saying, yo, this kid doesn't want to go to bed. So I've kind of been this way for some time. It's a really fascinating thing, but to get back to the point of the story, I would binge eat a lot and I wouldn't know how to stop, and I would feel like shit the next day. In the moment, it was almost like this funny thing. It was almost like my brain did whatever it can to justify what I was doing. Which is the thing about a lot of regret, is that in the moment of you doing it, your brain will try to justify why you're doing the thing. And it does. And that's kind of why you do it. You do it because your brain somehow told you some narrative that basically told you it was okay to do this. Sometimes I remember the narrative being, well, today I ate pretty good and yesterday I didn't binge eat. So like tomorrow I could always just eat less. And since I'm not doing anything tonight, I might as well take advantage. This is my weekend. Because tomorrow, who knows, maybe I'm somewhere else, so I won't be able to have pizza. It's just some bullshit. Some fucking whack pussy shit, dude. So your brain is gonna justify these acts in the moment. But here's the really interesting part about this. You will always feel regret the day after. Or at some point after the thing, you're gonna feel regret. And that shit weighs a lot, man. And if you want peace, you need to live in a way where you don't have regrets. Where you don't think of yourself in a low way. When how proud you are of yourself is consistently going up on a daily basis. Every day you're looking back, you're thinking, that was an 8, that was a 9, that was a 10, that was a 9, that was a 10, that was a 10, that was a 10, that was a 10. No more fucking that was a 1, no more that was a 2, that was a 3. No more days that made you go back. No more days that hurt your self-respect. Because without self-respect, you can't live with yourself. You can't be at peace with who you are. And if you can't be at peace with who you are, how are you going to be at peace in this world? How are you going to be at peace when you're talking to a girl you like? How are you going to be at peace when you're doing anything? When you in your own fucking skin, you don't respect yourself. That's why this is really important. So a lot of guys in the self-improvement space, they think the way you self-improve is by adding all these fancy little habits and tricks. Guys, it's not about that. I'll tell you right now, the only things you need to add to your fucking daily routine, like you need to, is you need to work out every day. You need to reflect somehow every day. You need to have some kind of wake up fucking time. You can't just be crazy with this and wake up whenever you feel like it. Really, that's the main fucking things, dude. And you need to read or learn something beneficial and positive. If you do these things every day, at this point, it's not so much about adding more shit to become more self-improved, to become more at peace with yourself. If you're already doing these things every day, actually there's one more thing. It's be social and be social. That's one more thing. But if you do all these things every day, the next level for you is just to remove all the negative things you do. All of them. All of them. Drugs, alcohol, spreading negativity in any way, wasting your precious time on this earth in any way. Those are some simple ones to think about. So do you binge scroll? Do you watch porn and chase instant gratification? Do you talk shit to people on the internet? Do you think bad about people? That's something I regret. If I ever think bad about someone, I regret that moment. So all you gotta do is start to reflect on this on a daily basis. What do I regret from yesterday and how am I not gonna do that today? And if you do this again and again and again, your self-respect is gonna go up and you're gonna be at peace. Let's go.